I haven't started yet.
I'm starting right now.
All right, let's go.
Get after it.
Go.
Bumps fine. Bumps Talk Bass, welcome. And we got some urgent situations to deal with right now. You have Progressive, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited to see how they deal with this situation.
I love them.
Hopefully I have the same reaction.
I mean, at least the guys in my area have always been very like fair and objective and like, I don't know. I haven't had anything like super, super major, but I had something decently major, this fall, and I've had a few other things along the line. But I've had nothing but positive experiences with Progressive.
That's who we need to really get a sponsorship from, an insurance company.
Yeah, right?
You hear that, Progressive? We all got Progressive now, so.
You're talking about how the bass fishing companies need to pay it forward. The insurance companies need to pay it forward.
They're looking at us, they're like, no. Do you know how many lower units a year we replace?
Well, my one buddy, actually, John Kelly, he was trying to get me hooked up with his insurance.
What does he have?
And I forget what it is. It's through a certain broker that deals with all the major companies, but he specifies in bass fishing. So
I found one boat insurance that was like super cheap, full coverage and everything, but they wouldn't cover me because of the losses I had. But it was like $400 a year for like the full agreed upon cash value of the boat that I wanted. It was nice.
Well,
main thing is that and the liability. I feel like that's the number one thing.
The number one
thing with liability, though.
The number one thing for me of why I got Progressive is their Propulsion Plus program is just like, it's the best thing out there. And if you don't have it, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand how you're out there running a boat without it. I really don't.
If your boat's old, like mine, it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Even though the engine's brand new.
If you have a boat new enough to be in the range for that, like, it's an absolute must. You have to have it. Basically, for people who don't know, the Progressive Propulsion Plus, it's a full mechanical breakdown coverage.
On 10 years or newer?
Yeah, as long as your boat's 10 years or newer to open the policy. But once the policy is open, even once your boat goes out of 10 years, you're like grandfathered into the program. So for your first year on the program, it has to be within 10 years. But if you stay with Progressive, you can keep going up to like 21 years, I think. I don't know. This turned into a Progressive ad. They're not paying me anything. I shouldn't be doing this, but I don't know. I think you're crazy to not have it.
I know I have it.
I have it, and I would have been out thousands of dollars this fall if I didn't have it.
Yeah.
So
get yourself Propulsion Plus.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, aside from the insurance ads,
yeah,
we're not Bums Talk Bass Insurance. You want to talk some bassin'?
Yeah.
Can we talk Bronco Bug Elite Series?
I don't know. I feel like you could have thrown, a sluggo at him.
What the real story there is, I think there's a few stories. Story number one is, how does a guy, right? Let me just set the scene here, right? It's a playing field bass has never been to before. Most of the field has never been there. The playing field, the body of water they're on, is huge, humongous. And everybody knows that the weather's not going to be great. It's going to be windy. It's going to be bumpy, right? Long runs, all this stuff. How does only one person in the field find the absolute best bite on the entire system by far, 150 feet from the ramp, and nobody else does it.
And that absolutely blew my mind that he was the only one. If I was there,
How?
He was in like basically sight of the ramp for 4 days straight, burned 0 gallons of gas.
And it just happens to turn out that the best bite on the system by like 40 pounds is right next to the ramp, which, like, listen, I promise I'm not just saying this in hindsight. I swear to you I'm being serious. If I'm in that tournament, I am trying my absolute hardest to find something close. I don't want to go anywhere.
I would have been fishing the Bosco tank the entire time. Like, I just wouldn't even consider running.
And I would expect most of the field to do that.
I understand that.
And nobody else like, there were guys kind of fishing in the area. Like on day 4, Keith Combs was in the top 10, like kind of fishing the area, but not necessarily doing the same thing. Like, nobody found what he found.
Well, wasn't Kyle's practice really bad? Like, he didn't really think he had anything.
No, he said he found a couple fish doing what he did at like the end of the last day of practice and was like, well, I don't really have anything else. Let me like start close and see what I can do. Yeah.
So maybe just no one else pieced it together, or people tried that spot first day of practice and then they weren't really moving up there yet and they need another day or two to start coming.
I would bet that he caught one fish at the end of practice or something like that.
Yeah, he definitely didn't catch much in practice, at least.
I don't think he said one fish, but
he had a miserable practice is what supposedly happens. I don't know. I find that happens a lot. A lot of people kick ass right next to the boat ramp.
Or it happens all the time. Yeah. But I just like I said, the part that is escaping me is like, how does nobody else in the field stumble into any of that?
Yeah.
And especially because like it was seeming like, listen, he was doing something really cool and really difficult with the shallow water scoping thing, but like these guys can do that. They're the best.
Everybody there can do
technology. Like, and he was every day like finding new fish at will. Like, it looked so easy for him. Like he would just start trolling around and be like, oh, there's a 7. Let me just sit on it until I catch it. Like it wasn't, sometimes it took a little while and it was a little difficult for him to catch these fish, but it's like, it's not like he had 85 fish marked. All 4 days of the tournament, he was finding new fish doing this and like
relocating, covering new water, opening up new areas every day.
And and he was able to. I don't want to say it wasn't hard, because obviously it was probably difficult, but it seemed like he had plenty to work with. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they just kept coming into the areas. You know what I mean? The areas they never ran out. And what you're looking at from the weight distribution wise, a lot of these areas did run out. They ran out fast. And maybe it was the panic, and maybe it was, a lot of guys had half the time to fish if they were lucky with the runs they were making and all the death and destruction that happened to every rig.
Did you see Matt Robertson's video?
Matt Robertson.
He didn't make it back.
No. Chad Pickens didn't make it back on day 1.
So bad. His whole NBT screen just...
Ben Milliken died. And that's just the ones that I've heard of.
Like, I don't know what kind of weight.
Brad Watley died.
Oh, really? He did?
Yeah. He rode back with Kelly.
Wow. Oh, I did see that.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I don't know what kind of weight these guys had, but like they blanked for the first day because they didn't make it back. I mean,
they didn't have good weight either.
Dude, how mad are you?
Oh, the entire field is
beating themselves up.
Yeah. How mad are you if you're one of those guys who ran 1,000,000 miles and it was so bad you didn't even make it back and you posted a 0 on day 1, and then you get to the end of the tournament and see Kyle Welcher is lapping the field, not even turning his outboard on?
I was going to say, could have trolled over to the spot. Didn't even have to.
Dude, in the morning on day 4, he was like, see my gas needle? It's full. I haven't filled up since practice.
It's crazy. These guys are filling up mid-tournament.
Yeah, I think it was Matt Robertson, or it might have been Milliken. One of them, I saw like a video where they were like, "We all right, it's day 1. Got to try to find a gas station on the way."
Yep.
It's like
literally Robertson's video is him leaving, like take off, goes immediately to rides like 50 miles, pulls into a gas station, tops off, then goes, rides like another couple miles, starts fishing. And I think you saw like another boat coming out of the gas station. So it's just like these guys are going all over.
that is so brutal.
And
then
it had to be just mental warfare. I mean, I love Jordan Lee. Jordan Lee is one of my favorite anglers of all time and one of the best fishermen, in my opinion, of all time. Jordan Lee looked like he was on the verge of tears in his one Instagram recap video.
Bro,
He
did you
looked
see
hurt.
Did you see Drew cook on stage in the first day?
No.
He was like shaking. He was on stage with his fish and still like physically vibrating. Like
from the ride.
he was terrified.
Jesus.
And these guys have been out in some West, these aren't just your average rookie college fishermen, you know what I mean? Like these guys get after it on the daily basis for their livelihoods. And when they're shook up a little bit, yikes.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard multiple guys say like on live, be like, we shouldn't be having a bass tournament here. Like,
I heard it's not that safe.
See, I hate that though, because it's such a cool place. I want to see him keep going back.
I want to see
Or like do similar.
They should have like
go in May.
put boundaries up.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
they
no, don't do the boundaries because people are, if they're going to be stupid enough to drive 100 miles, that's their problem. Like they know damn well they can fish.
Like, go ahead, like especially like Kyle Welcher proved it. Like
you don't got to
can't
run.
blame anybody else because no, you didn't have to do that. You absolutely did not have to do that. Well, Bass put me in the position where I had to make a run in this crazy. No, you didn't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
We'll see how much money of the service trailers lost this week and see if the service trailers will agree to go back.
I heard that the service trailer guys were there all night long.
I can imagine.
And all morning.
What were guys breaking though? That's what I don't understand. Just stuffing waves? Like, are they just breaking off brackets? Like, I see
waves, barnacles, barnacle boys. Like
Mermaid Man.
Mounts.
Because I'm thinking like power heads, but like,
I've never heard of issues happening on like. I mean, I know Chad Pipkins ripped off his lower, but like I've never heard of normal internals failing. And like Bass Cat's one of the most renowned brands, and Milliken's talking about how his whole boat just basically fell completely apart. Like he was talking about how his bilge pumps wouldn't kick on, all his electronics were shot, and
exactly where you want to have no bilge pump too.
Oh yeah. And that like I don't know how he made it back. He like took his one boat and then they met him at like a ramp in the whatever creek he was in. He switched boats to get back and then he sank that one too. Like I don't know.
Well, part of the problem is they're also running 55 miles an hour across this stuff and not doing.
Oh yeah, some of them were getting after it in some of those videos. Matty Robertson was 100% getting after it in that boat.
Oh yeah.
Well, dude, it was interesting. Tyler Williams on live on the fourth day. It was funny listening to him because it was like this guy's one of the youngest guys in the field, but he's talking like he's like the oldest and the wisest guy. Like he was on camera, he's like, "Man, I don't understand what these guys are doing." He's like, I'm running through the bay, I'm running pretty far and stuff, and he goes, "I'm just leaving like an hour earlier than I need to, and I'm just going really, really slow." He's like, I haven't broke anything. He's like, knock on wood, I haven't been to the service trailer all week. Like, I just think guys need to be a little more safe. I was like, all right, buddy, okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is slightly off topic, but just that old age and wisdom. I was watching the night that my tournament got canceled. I turned on the Falcon Lake, where Keith Combs won for some reason. I was watching that one. I guess it was, weight margin or whatever. Rick Clunn was in second, and they had like a genuine hurricane ripping through for the last day of that. It was like 80-mile-an-hour winds. Like the bass trailer was flipped upside down. The easy ups were flying all over the place. And Rick Clunn's like, I get to my fish, I could win. In the old days, we'd go out and get after it. But I don't. But
tournament directors were soft.
Yeah.
respect for the competitors. I'm not. I say we don't go. And with that, tournament directors have gone soft. Be a man. Don't die on the bank. Die out there.
Yeah, go down with
War.
your ship. Captain always goes down with the ship.
Yeah, I don't know.
Crazy.
And I think the other thing is pretty. I mean, doing the live scoping thing for beds, which is clearly what dominated this tournament. It's far from a new thing anymore, but I found it very interesting how, like, everybody's been talking for a while about the whole perspective mode betting thing, and most of the other guys in the very, very distant top 10 were utilizing perspective mode a bunch. But Kyle Welcher was not doing that. He was
I thought that was
still
crazy.
using his forward in like 3 feet of water. And I don't know how much of it you guys got to watch or like see the feed of it or everything. It was very clear and very obvious what he was looking at, even in like that shallow of water. Like his picture was incredible. And honestly, like I've used perspective mode, like our tournament on our Bass Nation tournament on Candlewood last year. I used perspective mode to catch a couple fish. But after looking at Welcher's and forward, I'm kind of like, and I think it's more of a specific situation because he has the stumps and like the hard cover to see like sticking up and all that.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know, to me and how my brain works and how I'm used to it, I'm like, that seems like a better idea than the perspective mode to me.
I wonder if just how they were setting up just made it easier.
I think that
for
has a
them to
lot
see.
to do with it because if they're not on the side of a stump, I don't think you can really do that.
Yeah, because like think about like the Scott Martin on like Okeechobee perspective mode. Like they're not necessarily like, it's just some grass.
And there's
strands.
also a lot of
it's a lot easier to see it on that perspective layout.
There's also a lot of grass in the way in
Yeah.
a situation like that if you're on forward. Like,
yeah, it's kind of blurred together.
Yeah,
They might
one
just
piece
be in a
of grass
pocket. You're not
will
going to see
block
them.
the fire.
but I wonder what made him realize that. Like, if it was a conscious decision of like, oh, I can see them better in like forward than perspective, or like if he just never even tried to do the perspective thing, or like.
I'll be honest. I feel like when you're just looking at something every day, at the end of the day, it comes down to the person and the individual angler and how well you can, conceptualize your tool and how well you know what you're looking at with scope, how well you can maneuver your transducer, and just how well you can personally interpret that information. Because when they're both tuned up to perfection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, he's not. He very well knows in both ways what he's looking at.
I'll
That's
say
just more what
this.
you're comfortable with.
I'll say this. I did something this weekend that amazed me. Like, I didn't know that I could even do this, and I won't get too specific because it happened on a body of water where there's going to be another tournament this weekend that potentially another member of our podcast is going to be competing against me in. But I live scoped a fish this weekend in 3 feet of water, 90 feet out, and it was clear as day to me. And I put it on
that
and caught him immediately.
I could do that with Mega Live. What are you talking about?
I'm sure you can. But like 90 feet out in 3 feet of water is like, I don't know. It must have just been like a perfect storm of circumstances that I could see it. But I was like, how?
My buddies were doing the same thing on Cayuga this weekend.
Really?
Now, do you have how high up is your transducer mounted? Do you have it like right under the surface of the water, pretty much?
That could make a difference. Yeah.
It's a little higher than most.
Me too, but not enough. But yeah, no, that I feel like that could be a big player too.
Yeah.
Especially like, well, you have Mega 360 as well, so
I
it can't be that high because your Mega 360 just has to be, kissing the surface, right?
Yeah, but they're as close as they possibly can be.
And it's nice that you never really get interference from that either.
No.
Do you ever get whoa? Do you ever get any interference from your Mega 360?
No.
Like if you're ever like you're your live scope transducer is never like blocking the cone angle of your Mega 360. You don't have a mystery shadow. Because I used to have that with my old Gen 1 360.
It's probably why. 'Cause it was...
Probably why, but
No, I've never noticed any problems with that.
so make them close enough to just, Now, would you ever have an issue with, both perspectives? Nothing either. If you ever have both in perspective, never had an issue.
Well, I actually did have an issue with we recently set up Worth's boat with 2 live scopes, a forward and a perspective, and they do interfere with each other quite a bit.
Huh.
To the point where
interference wise, like
yeah.
you're seeing the beam.
No, not like seeing them like static interference, like when they're both on.
That's what I'm saying. There's no way you could change your frequency, right? You can't change a live scope.
No, I talked about that with Andre, but also he I think this is just a hypothesis that I have. I gotta ask Pat about this, but I think it's just probably because I know this works for Humminbird. We did this to fix Andre's Humminbird. I think it might just be a linking issue. Like I think the 2 units he has, the 2 live scopes on aren't linked together.
You can link them together?
Yeah, and I think if you do that, it gets rid of the interference because Andre was having interference with his Mega Live and his 360, and when we looked it up, it said you need to link them, and we linked, and he got the Ethernet box and linked them, and all the interference went away.
I guess that would make sense. I mean, it could, interpret some type of interference rejection, or it could be, the live scope, the way it filters out, it goes through a program.
Yeah, so I don't know if that is. I don't know if that's also a thing with Garmin, but I know
it should be
a thing with Humminbird. So I would expect
that makes perfect sense.
I mean, the pros used to. Well, last year when they were allowed to, they ran it like that, and I feel like they never.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I was like, I was like, dude, a lot of people do this, so there has to be a way.
Yeah.
Boyo ran 3. He ran 2 going, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
It's crazy, but works. Yeah.
It's a lot of scope.
But I don't know. Looking at this tournament, and it's so hard. I'm sick of having like the live scope conversation all the time, but it's so hard of like listen, we all know we've heard me talk about it extensively. I'm not a live scope hater. I love live scope. This is a tough one for the pro live scopers to like. This was shallow water, fish on beds, flipping, pitching. Like, if you want to make the argument that live scope isn't like dominating everything, this is a hard one to make that argument with, because this is one that shouldn't have been a live scope fest, and it absolutely was.
And he wasn't going to catch those without scope. He might have caught one, but he was not going to find those without.
He would have caught him, but he wouldn't have put up the weight he did. He would have. I think he still would have won the tournament for the amount of fish in that area.
I don't.
You don't think so?
I would think not.
No,
really?
I don't at all. No.
He might have caught maybe 5 fish a day. I don't think.
I don't think he comes anywhere near what he does without live scope. I don't.
Think about how many he was just staring at for so long, for like
I mean, 15, he would be set
minutes.
up on these fish for 30 minutes. Most of those fish he wouldn't even know were there.
Yeah, dude, some of them weren't even like pinned up against the log; they were just out in the middle.
Right. He's targeting in this situation. He's targeting an individual fish. He's intentionally targeting megas.
Yeah,
it was intentionally just
imagine that
fish.
Like 2 to 3 pound, maybe 3 to 4 pound class fish that's existing on just a normal hard structure. That's just my take.
Yeah, but
because he was only fishing for those larger caliber fish. I just felt like that area was so dominant. You don't just have an area loaded with 6 and 7 pound class fish.
But like I said, Keith Combs was in that area too, and he made it top 10, but he didn't come. He was 50 pounds away from what Kyle Welcher did.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like Kyle Welcher probably would have made it, a lot more comparable. He wouldn't have blown it away by any standards, but I feel like he still would have had a top 5 finish if he didn't.
But like, listen,
more conventional. No record would have been broken. I agree.
Maybe just fishing around, he would have done well. Yeah, but I can't say that for sure. What I can say for sure is that one, pretty much none of the fish he caught bit on the first cast. He was set up on these fish for a while. So one, like though he catches almost zero of the fish we watched him catch on live. And two, even if they did bite on the first cast, he's flipping at stumps and trees and laydowns that are offshore and not visible. Yeah. If you don't have live scope or some kind of 360 technology, you don't even know they're there. Yeah, maybe you could fish out in the middle of a stump field rolling a chatterbait around, but that brings your bite percentage even further down. I think of the 20 bass that Kyle Welcher weighed in, without live scope, I think he catches 0 of them. 0.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean,
Could he have caught other fish in that area just fishing around and still put up a good finish? Absolutely, but that's all theoretical. Like, I don't know that for sure. I think he probably could have because those fish were around there, and I think, maybe he wins a tournament anyway. Maybe he has a good showing. He probably makes a cut no matter what and has a decent tournament probably, but I don't know that for sure. But I know of all the fish that I watched him catch, I did not see him catch one fish that I was like, oh, he would have caught that no matter what.
Yeah.
I didn't see it once.
I would agree. That was live scope smash.
I mean, guess what? I'm still of the line of thinking of like everybody else had it and nobody else did it. So like, too bad. But
definitely too bad. I'm not saying that, like anybody's at fault there. It's more like,
but it's a tough argument to make against the live scope haters when you see a tournament like this that is so unbelievably dominated. But like,
I mean, let's go back here. Who got the top 10 here? What did you guys have the results offhand or no?
Well, I can tell you right off the bat is Kyle Welcher live scoping, Easton Fothergill live scoping, Trey McKinney live scoping,
Tyler Williams live scoping.
Williams mostly live scoping. I did watch him catch a couple fish, not seeing them, but there was actually one specifically. He caught like a 5-pounder flipping a jig, and he turned around and made the comment. He's like, "I didn't even know that fish was there. I just flipped at a stump." Like, which is crazy to say out loud. Like, he was shocked to have caught a fish, not seeing it. Like, he was like, "Wow, I didn't even see that fish." Like, yeah, dude, that's most of the fish everybody else catches.
That's 95% of our fish.
Even me, like, of like us, like, clearly I live scope and do it the most. I still catch like 80% of my fish just fishing. Like,
yeah. To not do that, Ren.
To be surprised that you caught a fish not on live scope when you're flipping a jig on wood.
That's wild.
Like, that's crazy.
And that's why people hate live scopers.
And it's like, again, I'm still not of that train of thought, but I can wrap my head around your argument with this one.
Yeah.
I can really see it.
I mean, I have a quote from a local guy that I usually butt heads with on the old local Harv NEPA circuit. And I talked to him 2 years, maybe last year about this at the end of the year. He said that he has not caught a fish that he hasn't seen in like 2 years.
Damn.
And this guy catches them. Granted, he's not flipping wood.
I was gonna say it also depends on like if you commit to it.
I almost believe
here's the thing. He
I almost believe him.
I'm not calling
You're not calling him a liar, but just to even have that train of thought means you're seeing a lot.
Listen, I'm not calling him a truther.
Right.
But like, if you're fishing, you have to catch one by accident at some point. Like,
or is he just
no way his
taking a cast?
100%. It's probably like 99%. 100% is just a lie. Yeah. It's just not true.
some people. No.
He's
Is he
so
just one of
dialed.
those that
He
just
runs
sits
three.
there and
I think
doesn't
he
even
runs.
cast?
No, he runs three. He runs three deucers.
Jeez.
See, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing. He also fucking cleans house.
Yeah. And here's
I
the
watched
deal.
him catch the most obscene lake record of all time. He's like, I don't even know why. He just humiliated me the one day. I had like, it was a tough day. Nobody weighed in jack squat, right? And like, he's like, oh, you got a 3-pounder in there. Put him in for Wonker. Maybe you got something there. He didn't say that.
jerk.
He had that energy because like nobody weighed in anything. I had like a 3.5.
So
He's like, you got a big one. I'm like, what do you have? He's like, here, you got a big one in there. Why don't you weigh that for Wonker or whatever? It's like a 3.5. He weighs 4 for like 22.
That's so mean.
What a jerk.
I think I got second with like 12.
Is this a 4-fish limit?
Yeah, 4-fish limit.
Okay.
That's so crazy. That's so rude.
Oh, it was just demoralizing.
Get your hopes up. Oh, I got a big one.
But that's just why, when he'd say something like that, like I believe him. He's beyond dialed with it. He puts a lot more time out there too. He puts in a lot of time.
Well, that's the thing is like, listen, you can, and I've seen this because,
Yeah.
I fish with a lot of people who aren't good at live scope. Just because you have it,
No,
it very, very does not mean you're going to catch fish. Just because he's got
Absolutely
3
not.
transducers does not mean he's going to catch fish. He has 3 transducers and catches fish because he's put, and I don't know this guy, I'm just assuming, he's put an insane amount of time into it. I mean,
purely insane. He cleaned house with 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just,
I mean,
he's a very good angler. I give him credit.
I'm just now getting to the point where I feel like I'm like good at live scope, and I'm on my 4th season with it, and I fish more than like anybody else I know. So like it's not like an easy thing to be good at. Like,
No, it's not.
I've spent an insane amount of time on it, and I'm just now getting to the point where I'm like, I think I'm like pretty good at it. I still don't think I'm incredible. I think I'm like pretty good.
Well, you hit your spots. You're comfortable enough to hit your spots. You're comfortable enough to understand.
Yeah.
That's a big start.
I'm doing some stuff that I know I used to not be able to do, and that I know most people in tournaments can't do. Like
what?
There are certain situations where I'll like catch a fish and I'm like, almost nobody could have done that probably. Like, and I'm like, that's pretty cool.
In what regard though? Give me a small specific if you can.
Well, you can use the one I just gave. I caught a fish 90 feet out in 3 feet of water on live scope.
That's fair.
That's not happening. Like, I mean, like I'm getting to like, I'm looking at it, right? And I'm seeing like, I'm just picking up so much more. Like my brain is so like, it's almost like I'm mentally fusing with the screen. Like I know what's going on at all times. Like I'll see like a twitch on the bottom. Like you don't even see the fish.
Yeah.
You don't see the blob. I just see a little bit of a movement. I'm like, I don't even totally register. Like in my head, I'm like, oh, there's a fish. I just look at it and I'm like, something happened there. And I put my bait over there. And all of a sudden, a 4-pounder comes up off the bottom, and I'm like, I didn't even know that I knew that, but I did.
Have you been able to? The one point that was like a turning point where I started finally feeling comfortable is where I didn't have to lift my head up to know my distance.
Oh yeah,
or like you have a good idea. I think that's like a big thing too, is just being able to like really understand that distance. And to be fair, what I do more than anything else is I just go in a straight line as far as I fucking can and bring it in anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of at a point where I'm past like I'm beyond worrying about being able to hit him. If I see him, I know I can hit him. It's not a question. I can put it right up. Like I'm accurate to like within 2 feet like 99% of the time now. So like the harder thing for me, like that's the easy thing for me now is seeing a fish putting a bait on his head. I feel perfectly fine with that. I have no issues with that. I can do it in the wind. I can do it if it's bumpy. I can do it if he's far out. I can do it if he's shallow. I can do it when he's deep. I have no problem putting a fish on a bait or a bait on a fish's head. Where I'm at now is I'm trying to understand the situations of what bait do I put on that fish's head in what situation. Like I could see the fish. I know he's there. I could put a bait on his head. I'm trying to narrow down and feel comfortable in what do I do to make sure that fish bites? Because I can definitely put it on his head every time. I can't catch him every time, though.
Just a minnow. You said it. Just a minnow.
Yeah, but there's a lot more than just a minnow. There's a lot more to it than just a minnow. I mean, you're talking jig head size, head action, and that's just your jig head. Then you go into your bait size, bait color, bait action, and now that's just in a minnow profile bait. That's not the only thing you can throw at
Just
him.
a minnow and a trick worm, you're good to go.
It's generally the most effective, but yeah. But then again, so you go to the trick worm, you go to the Nico. A lot of the Nico is about the fall. So what size weight do you use? When do you know when to switch weights? What is there a depth where you're putting on a heavier weight, or is there a situation? Is there a wind? Is there a fish behavior pattern where you know you want it to sink this fast versus slower? You know what I mean? That's the type of stuff that I feel like I'm trying to figure out now. I feel like now that I'm at a point where I'm comfortable, like I know I can put the bait on the fish.
Yeah.
Now I'm to the point where I'm trying to figure out what he's really, really eating. And obviously, that's just fishing. It's never going to be perfect. There's never going to be perfect science to it. But I feel like I can improve upon what I already know.
Yeah. It's also just figure. I mean, it's crazy. Sometimes it's just
right.
Comes down to the fish. You there, bud?
I'm here.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
You looked like you were like meditating.
Right now, it's been a day.
Zeus wants to go throw a big old Colorado blade on the bay.
It's been a day for me too. But
you want to know something crazy? Sorry about that. You know something crazy?
What?
Spent like $100 in Colorado blades the other day.
Oh, Jesus. To throw them what once?
I love.
And you know what the crazy thing is? You know what the crazy thing is?
What?
I know exactly why he did that. I know exactly why he did that, and it was a 2-second piece of content. And I know exactly what piece of content it is.
Look at his face.
It was such the smallest, most microscopic thing, and I saw it, and I know he saw it, and I know exactly why he just spent triple digits on Colorado spinner baits, and it was a 2-second glimpse in a piece of content that was publicly posted that made him do that, and I know exactly what it was.
I honestly don't know. This is the reason why. These are my leftover ones from the bay. This one used to have a skirt. That trailer hook's rustier than my golf game. This one's also kind of cooked. And yeah, the rester is totally totaled.
Yeah.
Now they're fresh and shiny, ready to go. I don't know what piece of content you're referring to, though.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
You sent it to me and then pointed out the bait. And then that night bought all of these spinner baits. So don't tell me you don't know. I know you know. You told me.
The memory escapes me.
Just
Al, did I send the right one to you? Or I sent two. I think I got it.
Oh, you're sending them now. I can already tell you the names right.
I got it.
The first one.
Oh, the first one? Okay. Because the second one also shows it on the preview.
I haven't seen the second one. I know I've seen this first one because it was sent to me.
We'll talk about
Zoom,
this later, 'cause
zoom.
I'm lost. I'm actually lost.
Why would you mimic that though? I mean, come
Just
on.
leave it. Just leave it. Just leave it.
I'm
I
just
don't
gonna leave
wanna-
it there.
I don't want to dive further into this.
Don't dive further into the turkey neck tactic. I just embrace it. It's the one thing that gives me joy in life is just thumping a size 6 Hildebrand on a freaking tree.
But will he actually catch one doing it? We'll find out next week.
I
Yeah,
kind of
too
doing
bad
it the
these
other week.
Tournament directors wouldn't let us find out.
I know. To be fair, I wasn't going to be doing that at all. If that even happened, I don't think that I would have picked up the rod. But just to know it's there. You know where they eat that?
Just to know it's there.
You know where they eat that real good?
Grand Lake.
Oh no, Lake Zub.
Like,
Put Johnny on him this week with that.
there you go.
But how was your fishing overall? Did you catch a lot of fish on Saturday?
So on Saturday, I had one of the most fun little morning flurries I was telling you guys about earlier for a long time, just on just a basic community hole, doing community hole things. But they were there. There was bait there, and it was very protected. The wind was blowing a little bit. It wasn't glass. The wind was blowing probably 15 to 20. 10.
Cooking.
There I am. I don't know. For some reason, did that cut out on your end at all or no?
Yeah, it did.
Okay. No, but it was normal. But then I tried to experiment and elaborate on some other things. Like the Susquehanna wasn't blown out at all.
Okay.
So I spent some time up in there because I have some areas that, are typically good this time of year. You have some depth there. Worked on that, saw fish there, got one or two to go, but it wasn't great. Try to play smallmouth because I have a couple of smallmouth stretches because they should be, as the water, warms up, it's in that 50-degree-ish range right now. They should be really, fired. And they weren't. And that kind of threw me off a little because I finally had a day where the wind wasn't blowing dead to Susquehanna. I had eddies forming up there. The current was right. I'm like, okay, it's just a nice little back pocket thing to have. When you're fishing down there, it's you're never going to win a tournament with smallmouth up there. It just won't happen. I've seen guys do well. Sometimes if you need a mystery 3 to 4 pounder to call out,
somebody win a tournament on smallmouth this year?
Yeah, didn't you just say that?
It's never gonna happen. It
Last
happened
week.
2 weeks ago.
Maybe I don't know. I'm not an expert, but you can get 20 pounds of smallmouth up there. I would be honestly, I think you could. Now that I think about it, because it wasn't taken.
That's exactly what happened. I think it was 19 pounds. Smallmouth won it.
It wasn't. It hasn't been taking crazy weights. Guys are catching 6-7 pound largemouth, but they're not catching a limit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That smallmouth. You always get that
though.
It's the time of the year.
It's a time of the year now where they're going to be getting those limits. From this point on, it's going to take mid-20s.
Exactly. No, it's when you're in that early time of the year and the smallmouth are active and you find them and you have that consistency, you can do very well and win. But just for, like I said, it's the time of the year, so you still have to try and keep that pattern, in the back of your head. But then I heard that, not heard, there were guys out there. And I'm like, okay, time to regraph the flat and just, get my bearings out there. Spent a lot of time out there. Found some really good looking stuff, but it just wasn't happening yet. I have found
there's a lot of early spring grass that gets out there that looks juice, but just they're not in it yet. They're not moving out fully.
Well, I had both. I had the depth and the grass. And the carp. Oh, ate it so good. I had this megalodon freaking carp come through, and I'm just chucking it. I see the grass on the scope out there. I'm like, hell yeah. Chuck her on out, take it over, rip it through, boonk. And I'm like, oh my God. I lean into it, and it's not carping yet. It's just running at the boat. I'm like, oh yeah, it's a freaking giant one running right at the boat. Carp goes, runs the other way, buries my braid into the spool. I'm like, but we didn't catch a single bass out there.
Yeah.
So, was I going to run out there in the tournament? There's a chance. I don't know. There's a good
100%.
chance.
100%.
Back channel looked beautiful. We were there. I've looked at that at the end of the day on a low tide. Grass everywhere. Looked fantastic. But that back side was all pretty muddy and blown out from the wind blowing and just circling things around. It was really muddy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is another time of the year where, as you go on later in the year, the other rivers in the bay, actually, the saltwater intrusion, I believe, gets worse as the spring, progresses. So early season, I mean, it's
I think
not
it would be better,
bad.
wouldn't it? Isn't it the summer that gets worse?
Yeah, the saltwater intrusion gets bad in the summer. It's good
It
now.
does get bad in the summer, but I know like the early season.
When it's raining, it's not going to be bad.
Either way, for some reason, a lot more of the other creeks play this time of the year.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys are spread out all over the place, but like,
I think it's more of like a lot of the other creeks and a lot of the other places this time of the year play because not all of the big fish are exactly where you want them to be yet.
No, they're not. Everything's so scattered.
There comes a time of the year where you have to be fishing up there because the big fish are set up the right way. But when the big fish aren't set up the right way and you have this situation like you just discussed where, you could still catch giants up there, but it might be hard to piece together a limit. You can go other places and catch,
have that
a
consistency.
bundle of 3-4 pounders and have a really good day. And that makes a lot of sense to do that time of year. In other times of year, it doesn't make sense to make a 30-40 mile run when all the big fish are right there.
No, it doesn't. And the main thing that sucks as someone who isn't a local, I'm not going to make that risk.
Yeah, no.
It's so hard to say I'm going to spend a practice day, say in the sassafras, or I'm going to send a practice day in the bush or something.
I know
exactly.
Well,
weeks in the sassafras and not figure the place out.
No, I mean there's just so much water there. If I could spend, if I had 2 or 3 days, I would consider it. But I'm going down there one day, sometimes a half day before the derb, just to get my bearings, see how the place looks. Because at the end of the day, even for practicing, how'd you catch them? I didn't do a lot of fishing. Did a lot of looking because it's all about just making those adjustments. I mean, that's how Kyle Welcher did, That's how all these guys do it. You can't fish during practice. You just got to understand how the place is setting up and then just trust your judgment from that point on as an angler. Say, like, with X conditions, should throw Y. Dial it in a little bit, but at the end of the day, that's the only reason why I was lucky enough to have a practice day. I originally didn't even think I was gonna be able to practice. So
yeah, I remember.
You learned a lot. It's just I need that positive warming trend. I'm tired of this warm cock tease, front, death.
This is just like it though. I think this is it. I think this is the last.
But this isn't the first time I said that, so who knows? But
long-term forecast showing 60s.
I mean, meanwhile, here in Jersey, and again, like I said before, I'm not going to go into incredible detail because I do have a tournament to try to win on this unnamed body of water this weekend. But this past weekend, I had like one of the most ridiculous days of New Jersey fishing I've ever had in my life. I mean, I caught 24.5 pounds on a New Jersey lake, which just like doesn't happen, period. It especially doesn't happen on this lake. There's maybe one lake in the state where you could say, oh, okay, I can see that happening. This isn't one of them. And it was just one of those like could do no wrong days. Mm-hmm. Like I was catching them everywhere on everything, and it was just like big fish after big fish after big fish. And I wanted to say like, wow, I guess they were just chewing. But I knew multiple other people who were on that lake that day who did not catch them.
They just
and it's just like, I don't know. It's just, everybody has one of those days every once in a while. This was my day where it was my day. And like, it was so like, it was the type of day I'm going to like remember and think about for a really, really long time. Like it was that good and that awesome. Like it was the type of day that reminds you of like why you love like I was jumping up and down, like laughing, giggling. Like it was it was just pure joy and excitement. Like it's why you do it. There's nothing better.
It's the day that you keep talking about that makes you go back out, and then you hate yourself, and you're like, well, it could have been like that day.
Yeah, I mean the
Oh.
last day that I can think about in my like recent memory where I was like that giddy was day 2 on Champlain with me and Brennan.
Yeah.
Which was like we caught 150 fish in a grass bed. Like it was just stupid. But like it was probably a top 10 day of bass fishing I've ever had.
To have
just
it
all
in
the
Jersey,
circumstances
nonetheless.
around it. Yeah. Like
Unreal.
well, that's why. Like if that happened, if I had the same exact day when I lived in Florida,
Just another day.
it wouldn't be memorable at all. But being in New Jersey, it's a in terms of just like memorable fishing days, it's probably a top 10 most memorable bass fishing day. Like it was so crazy. It's just like you just like I had like 21 pounds in an hour.
Jesus.
That's
in
insane.
New Jersey. Like, and I was just like, wow. Like that was like the craziest flurry ever. Like,
And then it kept
I can't
going.
believe it just happened. And then it just kept going. And then all of a sudden I had 22 pounds. And I was like, what? I can't catch another big one. And then all of a sudden I had 23 pounds. And then I had 23 and a half pounds. And I'm looking at the scale and I'm like, all right, well, this is like the max. Like, I don't even, like, I can't really cull from here. And then all of a sudden I did twice.
Crazy.
And I had 24 or something. And I'm like, what is going, like, every time I set the hook, like a fish would just come up and I'm like, there's no way that that is actually the fish on the end of my line. Like there's no way I just hooked another one.
Yeah.
Like
see, now the problem is
I caught some small ones, but I wasn't catching very many small ones. Like pretty much every time, like the second you set the hook, it was like, oh boy, what is this gonna be? Because like every time it was a giant.
That's awesome. See, now your expectations are too high though. Now this weekend's gonna suck.
It might. Like I said, like I mean, it's a good lake and all, but it's not like it's not a lake you expect that to happen on, and it probably won't happen again. like I hope it does, but I mean, but either way, like I've already mentally prepared myself for like that's probably not going to happen. Like I'd like to catch like 20 pounds and win. Like that would be cool, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's a realistic thing to go for. I think you still win the tournament with 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Like
places go.
Like, and I mean, even if not, like, I don't know. I just want to, you know, the conditions are the conditions. Everybody else is out there. I just want to win. Like, if I wind up only winning with 16 pounds, okay, whatever. Like, it was a tough day. As long as I win.
Which is crazy though, because that lake popped off, but then the lake you expect to catch, not expect, but you could see
it would be more
pounds.
Realistic.
Yeah, but that lake popped off even more. The other one that
Saturday or Sunday?
The day before, the Saturday.
They cracked what?
Weather.
29 pounds and 29 lost as well. Got second.
28-8.
28-8.
Where was this?
Jersey.
My pond.
Yeah, no, I heard about that.
Yeah.
The pond we beat Ike at.
Well, like on that same day, I guess that was just a good day to go bass. My one buddy caught a 9 in Pennsylvania doing that. Another guy in Ohio caught a 9.
I saw that. There's something in the weather this weekend. I'm telling you, dude, it was unreal.
Just pushed him up. Bummer day to not have a derb.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the just the final cold front, and the fish were like,
and also
now's the time.
For the record, this tournament that on the other lake that had 29 and 28 and 25 and 23 and 20, there was only 10 boats.
Everybody thought they won.
Yeah.
The whole field thought they won. The whole field was
You
coming
imagine
in.
having the day of your life in New Jersey, 28 pounds, and you come in and you're like, son of a bitch.
Dude, if me and you had fished that tournament and we had 28 pounds in the live well,
Yep.
I would have never
Dude,
I
we thought we
would have been
did.
like, I would have been like, it'd be pretty crazy if somebody's within 5 pounds of us.
Yeah.
Like, I would never in a million years think it was a possibility to not win that tournament.
It's like what we had, almost 19 there in August? It was the same thing. We're like, we got this in the bag. Let's go get some lunch.
Yeah, it was the middle of August. It was 100-something degrees out. And this was like, the lake's always been good, but it seems like the weights have been going up even. So this was even like years ago when, like, if you caught 20 any time of the year, you were winning. And we had like 19 pounds at like 11 a.m. in the middle of the hottest day of the year. And we were like, oh,
we won.
This is over. And then we came back in and it was not over. We came
Here's another wild thing. I mean, would you ever think that there's just that many fish of that caliber in that lake to begin with?
I'm fully aware of that, yes.
So then, okay. So it's not just like, so how many more do you think there are in there? Is it just like...
I caught a 9-pounder out of that lake last year.
Okay. So they're there.
I catch, I would say I average catching at least one fish over 5-6 pounds every single time I go.
Okay.
The place has big fish. It's crazy, like why other places, other lakes in Jersey doesn't happen.
It can
as often.
fish really tough though. Like there are days I go there and catch a 5-pounder, but I don't catch a limit. Like, you know, it's not like an easy. It can. There are days it can be easy, but then you can go the next day and it's like so tough, and then you go the day after that and it's easy again. Like it's got them, but it also gets pressure and people fish it. Like it's not like it's not. I would never recommend, like, if somebody was far away and was like, hey, should I come drive out for the day and catch them? I'd be like, no, that's a horrible idea. Like, you're almost certainly not going to have a good time. Like, these people who are catching these bags fish this lake a lot. Like,
that's fair too.
I fish this lake a decent amount. I don't fish it as much as a lot of these guys who fish that tournament do. I fish it a decent amount. I fish it 10-15 times a year. I consider myself to know a decent bit about this lake, and it's like it's still not easy for me. Like I catch them, but do
you think everybody in that field puts in, like, you know, more hours than say I would call you the average fisherman? Is that
the top 5 in that field? I knew the name of every single one of them.
Okay.
And they all fish it more than me.
They're the local hammers.
Those guys, like, if you just showed up that day, you're almost certainly not doing that.
But also at the same time, like, you've never seen weights like that come out of that place before this time of year, right?
No.
So it's still something magical happened.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. Like, dude, like, that is so, like,
to almost have a
consider it like the best big fish lake in the state, and that is still so unbelievably far beyond anything we've ever seen. Like, it's New Jersey. New Jersey fishing sucks. We call it the best. We call it the best big fish lake in the state because it's possible to break 20. It's possible, not because it's probable.
I would put it probable for locals.
I still wouldn't say probable. Probable implies that it happens more than 50% of the time.
Yeah, I guess it's all summer long. It's pretty.
Yeah, that's not true. Is it more probable than anywhere else in the state? Yeah, for sure. But is it probable, like statistically, like are you catching over 20-50% of the time you go there? No way.
Just crazy that, because it's not big. I mean, it's big. It's a bigger reservoir, but it's not a big lake by any means. To have that many big fish in there, it boggles my mind that they can all live in that lake at the same time.
Is it electric only?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which makes it even more
I
difficult
know
to
that.
actually put together bags like that when
But,
you're
like-
stuck on the trolling motor.
But like, dude, it's like it gets pressure. Like, you go there in May or June on a Saturday or a Sunday, there's 40-50 bass boats there. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
that many? Really?
Oh yeah.
Every fish has been picked off the bed 5 times
Yeah.
by the
It's
time you've gone through.
yeah, it gets fished a lot. Like it's one of those lakes that like it's one of those lakes that you're like, wow, I'm surprised it holds up to the pressure. Like it keeps getting pummeled and it seems like it keeps getting better. Like I don't know, I'm interested to see how it tracks for the remainder of the year, because like at the end of the fall there this year was epic. Like the end of last year was ridiculous there, and it seems like it's kind of picking up where it left off again. I haven't been. I'm definitely going to try to be a lot in the next coming weeks, but I'm interested to see how this plays out like long term throughout the whole year, and see if it was just like a magical weekend, or if like we're going to be seeing, a banner year for the whole fishery or
That's
not.
exciting to see.
It is. It's very exciting for me, because it's like it's not close. I mean, it's like 40 minutes from my house, so in the scheme of like, yeah, it's close. In the grand scheme of things, it's close enough. But I'm excited to see if this fishery can continue to improve, because it is like one of it's not like a home pond for me in the true sense, but it's like one of the closest things I can say I have to a home pond.
Right.
And it's definitely well in my interest for it to keep having more and more bigger fish,
For sure.
But we'll see.
We'll find out real soon.
Doesn't your
I'm
actual
it'll
home
be there
pond
next
have
week.
Megan Northern Pike?
Doesn't have many of them, but it has a few. I caught one the other day.
That was cool. I don't know if we brought that up the other day. That was cool. That was cool.
Yeah,
colors on that one.
it's a big deal for the locals. The locals went crazy on that one.
Really?
Oh yeah, everybody around here like always tries to go there and catch them, and like nobody ever catches them. Like that's like they're in there and there's big ones and stuff, but it's like there's not a lot of them. Like it's gotten to the point where it's almost like everybody knows they're in there, but it's like borderline urban legend that they're in there, because like nobody catches them. But I've hooked a couple. I've never landed one. That was the first one I've ever landed, and I fished this lake like
Constantly.
25 times a year. So
yeah, not bad. I haven't caught a pike in ages.
Not that I'm ever targeting them, but you would think with like bass style baits, you'd catch one accidentally like a little more often.
Yeah, just like a pickerel.
Yeah. And the crazy part is, I guess, I don't know, maybe similar to your carp story, where like he was just coming out at the boat, or if he didn't realize he hooked it yet, hooked yet. But like when I first hooked him, I literally said out loud, I was like, I don't think it's a big one. And then it was just, and I was like, oh, not only is this a big one, it's not a bass.
Way too fast.
Yeah.
Way too aggressive.
I saw it flash, and like from a far distance, I was like, is that a monster pickerel? And then it like dawned on me. I was like, oh my God.
The elusive.
It's the pike. But yeah, that was pretty cool.
You know, this is pretty cool.
What?
What's pretty cool is the fact that someone who could be watching this has the opportunity to win a pack of Bronco bugs.
Whoa, baby.
City, baby.
Crush City Bronco Bugs. We're not going to pull it up, but I'm just going to take a quick look here. I had to pull it up earlier.
Yep.
If we're going to look at should I share? And whatever.
I'm proud of Zuba for remembering this.
Now, SRT member 104. If you're listening, we mentioned a keyword in the last podcast. I'm not going to say it again, but it's there.
Did
we? Yeah, we did. We did.
Yeah, but that was for a different tournament.
Yeah, wasn't that for the classic?
No, because the keyword involved the Bassmaster Classic champion.
Wasn't
Yeah.
I think you should probably say it again because I didn't even remember.
Yeah. Let's.
Well, that's because you're not a fellow, a valuable listener of Bumps Talk Bass. When have you ever listened to Bumps Talk Bass?
I unfortunately
I've never been on a car trip with you and have you listen to Bumps Talk Bass.
As the editor of this program, I'm unfortunately required to listen to this way more than I want to.
Well, in that case, Mr.
There's a new
SRT
keyword. There's a new keyword, and the keyword.
No, it's the same.
No. Because that was for the classic. I'm 99.9% sure you're remembering it wrong.
I feel like
that's
for the classic winner.
Your keyword from the last episode was Beastin, and that was to win a pack of whatever the Strike King trick worms are.
Yeah.
So this week.
Oh, this is a new keyword. You're right.
It's a new keyword. The keyword is Ford for the Ford Bronco because it's a Bronco bug.
Nice.
Okay. All right. I'll work on it. I like it.
It makes sense, but it's abstract enough that nobody can guess it because the first 2 weeks you just said like the name of the bait. We can't be doing that anymore. So it's abstract enough, but it makes sense. The keyword is Ford, Ford. If you DM Bumstalk Bass or Zoob or any of us, if you DM us that keyword, you win a pack of Rapala Crush City Bronco bugs.
Or
you
can get this pack of Jackal Chunk Craws I just found.
Ooh, a used pack.
All right, you'll get those too. Zoob's throwing it in the box.
Brand new. No, I need these. These are my Bronco bugs. But you'll get your Bronco bugs. Don't worry. And that's not just you, SRT member 104. It can also be you, valued listener of Bumstalk Bass. If you are subscribed to us and DM us that keyword, well, guess what? Buddy,
and you're the first, not just anybody.
You're the first. You have to be the first one to do it.
First one. Not everybody who DMs us is getting it. The first.
Andy's typing furiously right now.
You two can be just like Stone Cold Kyle Welcher.
And you can crack 30 pounds yourself.
You can. Well, don't give him false.
Probably
hope.
Not.
This is bad business.
Big couple of weeks for the Crush City brand, though.
Oh yeah, DC winning the Red Crest. Kyle Welcher doing this.
Big couple of weeks.
They got some good PR coming their way.
Oh yeah, they're making sales.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're probably sold out.
Jacob Wheeler's in the back, like, dude, what the fuck? I've been pushing these Bronco bugs for 8 years.
Yeah.
Now Kyle Welcher's gonna sell them out.
Oh well, they probably.
That's
both,
because.
Whose design is it? Do we know if that's Wheeler's design or is it just a generic design? Is it Wheeler's design?
It's not Wheeler's design, but it is.
But it's not Wheeler's design. I mean, I'm not even bringing his name in.
Yeah.
Tacticami's design, but that's a whole other ball game. Anyway, besides that point, it's the equivalent of basically Keith Combs winning Falcon Lake on a 6XD. Because that's great, you won the tournament, but yeah, all that money's going right to KVD. So,
true.
So Wheeler's probably.
Congratulations, Kyle Welcher! You won the tournament. All that money's going to KVD.
He has whatever commission contract is going on there. Wheeler's is going ding, 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 ding.
Wheeler
always wins.
Won the event.
Wheeler won life.
Wheeler is this past week, Jacob Wheeler became the first ever professional angler to win an Elite Series event not being on the Elite Series.
The Elite Series, absolutely. I wonder who's going to win next week. I'm excited for our little breakdown on that one. Hartwell
Is next week?
Yep. They get 1 week off, and then they're back into it.
I double checked. We have 8 days.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't think it was that soon. I know the NPFL is on Norman this weekend, which
really?
Lake Norman without live scope, that's gonna suck.
Oh, that's why Christy was there. I was like,
that's gonna be brutal for them.
And there's the invitation on Smith Lake too, and that's like, it's okay. I'm waiting for the weights to be like 0 tomorrow.
Yeah, that's gonna be something, huh?
That's gonna be something we're gonna have to talk about next week. That little Hartwell's gonna be a smash fest. I think they're gonna crack them. Actually, no. I think Hartwell's gonna be like a shad spawn derb, herring spawn.
Have they spawned out in Hartwell by now? Nah, they got to be just getting up there.
They're on the tail end of the spawn now. There should be, as I know, the herring are starting to spawn.
That's so crazy.
Guys are going to be catching bedding fish for sure. It's the
south. Guys will be. Yeah, no.
It's south enough that the spawn isn't like 1 week like it is here.
Oh, no. Their bedding fish are going to be in play. Sight fishing's going to be in play. Cobb's going to have a good derb, but we can talk about that later.
I'm going to pick Drew Benton again.
I was going to say, Drew Benton's going to pop up on the
I'm an idiot. I can't believe it. I'm so pissed I burned Brandon Cobb for Drain the Lake.
Don't worry, I forgot my Drain the Lake, so you beat me.
Oh, well. You're going to have that on these bigger jobs.
You will.
Sure. Well, looking at the sun, it's time for bed.
I'm exhausted, and I've had such a long day. I haven't even showered yet today, so let's call it a day. We will see you guys next week. Thank you.